Wojtek, the soldier bear. Wojtek was a Syrian brown bear, adopted by Polish troops evacuating through Iran in 1942. He traveled with the Polish Second Corps, learning to march upright and salute. To comply with British transport rules, he was formally enlisted as a private, complete with paybook and serial number. At Monte Cassino in 1944, one of Italy's bloodiest battles, Wojtek carried 25-pound artillery shells from trucks to guns for hours under enemy fire. His steadiness amazed observers. He seemed to grasp the urgency of combat. The 22nd Artillery Supply Company adopted the image of a bear carrying a shell as its emblem. After the war, he retired to Edinburgh Zoo, where veterans visited for years. Wojtek died in 1963, remembered as the only bear ever entered on a military roster. Chips, the most decorated dog. Chips, a German Shepherd Collie Husky mix from New York, joined the U.S. Army through the Dogs for Defense program. Trained as a sentry, he served in North Africa, Sicily, Italy, and France with the 3rd Infantry Division. During the Sicilian invasion in 1943, an Italian machine gun nest halted his platoon. Chips broke free, charged the pillbox, and forced 4 gunners to surrender. He sustained burns and a bullet graze, but continued patrols that night, helping capture 10 more prisoners. He was recommended for the Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, and Purple Heart, later withdrawn under rules restricting medals to humans. In 2018, the PDSA posthumously restored his honor with the Dickin Medal. Chips returned home after victory, dying peacefully in 1946. His courage established combat dog standards, later adopted in Korea and Vietnam. Judy, the prisoner of war dog. Judy, an English pointer, served aboard HMS Grasshopper during the defense of Singapore. When Japanese aircraft sank the ship in 1942, she swam to shore with survivors and located a freshwater spring on the deserted island, saving them from dehydration. Captured weeks later, Judy accompanied the men to a Sumatran prison camp. There, leading aircraftman Frank Williams secured her registration as prisoner 81A, the only animal officially recorded as a POW. She guarded rations, warned of guards, and shared smuggled food with the weakest inmates. During evacuation in 1944, their ship was torpedoed. Judy pushed wreckage toward drowning men until rescue arrived. After liberation, she received the Dickin Medal for endurance beyond the limits of animal nature. She lived with Williams until 1950. Her story became a Royal Navy morale legend and remains the only documented case of an animal prisoner of war. Cher Ami and G.Y. Joe, the pigeon messengers. Pigeons provided the most reliable battlefield communication where radios failed. Their homing accuracy often decided engagements. Cher Ami, though from the previous war, set the doctrine. In 1918, he flew through fire to deliver coordinates that stopped friendly bombardment on the lost battalion. He arrived shot through the chest, with one leg hanging by a tendon, but his message saved 194 men. His example shaped the Allied pigeon services of 1940 to 45. G.I. Joe, bred and trained in England, demonstrated the method's peak efficiency. In October 1943, British troops captured the Italian village of Calvi Vecchia ahead of schedule, while American bombers prepared to strike it. With radio lines cut, G.I. Joe flew 20 miles in 20 minutes, delivering the cancellation order moments before takeoff. He saved more than 1,000 Allied troops and civilians and received the Dickin Medal. He lived until 1961, a veteran credited with preventing a tragedy of friendly fire. Rip and Beauty, the Blitz rescue dogs. During the London Blitz, German raids buried entire neighborhoods. Volunteer wardens soon learned that dogs could detect trapped survivors faster than instruments. Rip, a stray found after a bombing in 1940, instinctively began locating buried victims. He saved over 100 lives and was awarded the Dickin Medal in 1945. Beauty, a wire-haired terrier, specialized in rescuing animals. With her owner Bill Barnett and the Beauty Squad, she recovered 63 pets from debris, including cats, dogs, and a tortoise. Her work boosted morale among families who had lost everything. Together, Rip and Beauty became symbols of civilian resilience. proof that heroism was not limited to uniformed service. Simon, the cat of the Yangtze. Simon, a black and white ship's cat, served aboard HMS Amethyst. In 1949, communist artillery trapped the vessel on the Yangtze River for 101 days. A direct hit killed several sailors and wounded Simon with shrapnel. Despite infection, he continued killing rats that threatened the ship's food stores. His persistence maintained rations and spirits under siege. Simon died soon after the ship's release and was buried with full naval honors. He remains the only cat ever awarded the Dickin Medal. Sergeant Stubby, the prototype. Sergeant Stubby, a Boston Terrier mix from the First World War, directly influenced the creation of canine units in the Second. He could sense gas attacks and artillery fire before soldiers did, warning his regiment to take cover. He once captured a German spy by holding him until guards arrived. Stubby's fame after 1918 led to America's Dogs for Defense program in 1942. More than 10,000 dogs were trained under standards first proven by him. Stubby's example bridged generations of military working dogs. Commando, the D-Day Courier. Commando, a British carrier pigeon, flew over 90 missions. 3 were classed Special Hazard, earning him the Dickin Medal. On D-Day, he carried coded intelligence from resistance units in Normandy across the Channel under rain and anti-aircraft fire. The message refined Allied troop movements in the invasion's opening hours. Commando exemplified the pigeon service's 95% success rate, unmatched by radio or courier. 32 pigeons received the medal. Commando's record remains the benchmark. Antis, the Czech airman's dog. Antis, a German shepherd, belonged to Czech pilot Václav Wojtek. Found as a puppy beside a crashed aircraft in 1940, he accompanied his master through campaigns in France, North Africa, and Britain. He flew on bombing runs, reacting to incoming enemy aircraft minutes before radar contact. When Wojtek was shot down, Antis refused food until his recovery. Repeatedly escaping confinement to find him, the dog became a squadron mascot. He received the Dickin Medal in 1949 for loyalty and devotion. Antis died in 1953, buried with RAF honors. The war horses. Despite mechanized armies, horses remained essential transport. Germany used over 2.7 million, the Soviet Union similar numbers. They hauled artillery, supplies, and wounded men through mud and snow where trucks failed. On the Eastern Front, horses froze in harness or starved beside retreating columns. Few survived the campaigns. One horse represents them all. Warrior, General Jack Seeley's charger from the First World War, who endured gas, shellfire, and near burial twice. He lived until 1941, his endurance later honored with a Dickin Medal in 2014 as a tribute to all war horses. Their strength sustained armies even in the age of machines. Brian, the parachute dog. Brian, a German Shepherd Collie mix, served with Britain's 13th Parachute Battalion. Trained for airborne operations, he jumped into Normandy on D-Day 1944. Landing under fire, he rejoined his unit and began mine detection duties. He located explosives across France and the Low Countries, saving countless soldiers. Wounded twice, he remained operational until war's end. In 1947, he received the Dickin Medal for gallantry, representing all airborne service dogs. Homing heroes of the Pacific. The Pacific Theater also relied on messenger birds. U.S. Army Signal Corps pigeons operated from jungle outposts where humidity destroyed electronics. Beachcomber, a Canadian pigeon, carried the first Allied warning of Japanese attacks on Ceylon in 1942, earning the Dickin Medal. Another, White Vision, delivered the coordinates of a ditched aircraft over the Atlantic, guiding rescuers in severe weather. Their flights often spanned hundreds of miles of open sea, a margin between survival and disappearance. Smokey, the smallest soldier. Smokey, a 4-pound Yorkshire Terrier, was found in a foxhole in New Guinea in 1944. Adopted by Corporal Bill Wynne of the U.S. Army Air Forces, she became a morale mascot and a working signal dog. During construction of an airstrip, communication cables had to pass through a narrow flooded pipe. Smokey crawled 70 feet through the conduit, carrying a wire, completing the job in minutes and saving soldiers from hours of dangerous excavation. She later entertained troops across the Pacific, performing tricks beside field hospitals. Smokey is regarded as the first recorded therapy dog in military history. Tirpitz, the rescued pig. Tirpitz, a pig aboard the German cruiser Dresden, survived the ship's sinking off the Falklands in 1915 and was adopted by British sailors, remaining a Royal Navy mascot into World War II. During the next conflict, descendants of naval mascots like Tirpitz served on dozens of ships, providing companionship that reduced stress during long patrols. The Royal Navy officially recognized animals as part of ship's complement morale after their documented effect on crew endurance. Carrier dogs of the Red Army. On the Eastern Front, Soviet forces used dogs for mine detection, medical supply, and anti-tank operations. So-called tank dogs were trained to run under enemy vehicles carrying explosives, a desperate and controversial tactic. Results were mixed. Many were frightened by noise and returned to their handlers, but some succeeded in disabling panzers during the Battle of Kursk. Mine-sniffing units achieved greater reliability, clearing thousands of explosives during the advance to Berlin. Over 40,000 Soviet dogs served, hundreds were decorated with the Red Star Medal. The messenger dogs of the Pacific. In dense jungle where radios failed, the U.S. Marine Corps employed messenger dogs to carry dispatches between outposts. Notable among them was Caesar, a Doberman from Guam, who delivered 12 messages during the Battle of Bougainville before being mortally wounded. Another, Kurt, warned Marines of an impending Japanese ambush on the island of Angkor, saving 250 men. Both received posthumous citations and helped establish the Marine War Dog program that remains active today. Marine mammal research. Both Axis and Allied powers explored marine animal potential. German scientists investigated trained seals for mine recovery. The Soviet Navy used sea lions to detect enemy divers. Although no operational deployment occurred, the results prompted post-war continuation. By 1960, the U.S. Navy Marine Mammal Program formalized training of dolphins and sea lions for harbor defense and mine location, an enduring legacy of wartime experimentation. Other frontline companions. Camels transported supplies for Commonwealth forces in North Africa. Elephants in Burma cleared jungle for Allied engineers, often under Japanese air attack. One elephant, Lin Wang, served with Chinese forces hauling artillery. He survived the war and lived in Taipei Zoo until 2003. Carrier pigeons flew with French and Polish resistance units, delivering coded intelligence from occupied territories. In every climate and under every flag, animals filled logistical gaps humans could not. Legacy and reflection. Over 1 million animals served in World War II. They hauled guns, carried messages, guarded camps, and stood beside soldiers in every major theater. Their contribution was not sentimental, but operational, measurable in missions completed and lives preserved. The PDSA Dickin Medal, instituted in 1943, became the formal recognition of animal gallantry. 75 medals have been awarded. More than half went to animals of this war. In museums across Britain and Poland, their collars, harnesses, and insignia are displayed beside those of human soldiers. Their stories share common elements: loyalty without command, courage without ideology, service without recognition. They remind us that war's burden extended beyond humanity, and that discipline, sacrifice, and instinct can coexist in every living being drawn into conflict. From Wojtek's steady march at Monte Cassino to Judy's endurance in captivity, from Commando's precision flight over Normandy to Simon's quiet perseverance on the Yangtze, these creatures acted with purpose equal to any decorated soldier. They did not choose to fight, but they fought all the same, and in doing so, they secured their place in the long record of courage under fire.